I guess back then you had a lot of fighters, a lot of MMA guys. And I notice now you've kind of, I mean, you still have kickboxing, you still have striking, but I notice you've leaned more towards the, the grappling side too, jiu-jitsu.
I do.
How does that feel coaching fighters versus coaching martial artists?
Yeah, well, Joy, I'll be honest with you. Okay, this is how I do it now.
Mhm.
You have to be a martial artist
Yeah.
in order to do MMA with me.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I remember before you have, I mean, obviously a long time ago, you take whatever, you have guys that want to fight.
Oh yeah, I had to pay the bills.
Yeah.
I really did. And plus, I really enjoyed that culture.
Yeah.
The cage fighting and them representing you, and they're a product of your coaching and all that. So I did, but along the way, it wasn't rewarding anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of guys would come in, it was something they wanted to try.
Yeah, I want to do a fight in 2 months from now.
Yeah.
And
I felt pressured. Also, when I bought Rockford Kickboxing Jiu-Jitsu, by itself, it didn't pay the bills.
Mm-mm.
What paid the bills was Rocktown Showdown. That came with the gym.
Yeah. So
now
now
I'm a promoter.
Mm-hmm.
That's what paid the bills. It was that. So when I would make money with Rocktown, I had to save it because I had to kick in an extra $5,000 because I didn't have enough in tuition.
Yeah.
So I was kind of forced to do it.
Yeah.
In a sense, because the walk-ins, the walk-ups at those shows in the beginning were good, but then when it became saturated, in the area with local shows, now it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
If you got 50 walk-ups compared to hundreds,
Mm-hmm.
so now I was relying on fighters to sell tickets,
Yeah.
and that was just honestly. And now guys were like, well, they didn't want to train.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's fair to the fighters either. I think they should just focus on their fight, right? I mean, I know they need to sell tickets to help the promoter, but I feel like that's more stress on them, right? Kind of.
It is, but that was just the way it was, man.
Yeah.
And remember we talked about being disciplined, and
Mm-hmm.
they weren't disciplined. They were
No.
like I was prior, to owning the academy, because they just wanted all they saw was their hand raised.
Yeah, I just want to win this fight real quick.
That's it. So they didn't want to train and all that, and it just became this thing that was getting out of control, man.
Yeah.
And I realized martial artist first, MMA fighter second.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I sent a lot of people down the road.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, there was a lot of people that were.
They didn't want it that.
Yeah.
No, I just want to do it. And they would talk about my competitors, how they were willing to put them on sooner than later.
Mhm.
And I remember having just to eat it. Hey man, I think you ought to go there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think that's where you should go, because that's short game thinking. I was thinking more long term.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Well,
I
I mean, how many MMA guys do you see in their 50s versus how many jiu-jitsu guys? I mean, there's that too.
Yeah, we were fortunate enough. We were fortunate enough prior to it being mine totally. We had Ryan Stonich.
Yeah, he's a really good wrestler.
He
MMA
was
too, right?
MMA too, and even just a grappler. He was a finisher. I mean, but that was the first time we took somebody homegrown. Yes, he was a D1 wrestler, but he had other skill sets
Mm-hmm.
that we helped develop. Bryce was excellent with him, and Coach Sockwell, William
Mhm.
Sockwell. I don't know if
Yeah,
you know.
boxing.
Yeah, they got his hands together, and his I had a hand in his submission game, and for sure, and he was just disciplined, man.
Yeah, yeah, D1 wrestler, you gotta be,
Right. But we were disciplined enough. We put this together for him, and he was just a great student. Him, Cal, and some of the old, Dirty
Force.
Dozen type,
Uh-huh.
OGs, we'll call them back then. They were just so disciplined. We had such a good.
I remember
environment.
Fernando being out there. Do you remember him?
Yeah,
Fernando
yeah.
Gomez?
Actually, Fernando he was with me just recently. Yeah, he just came back. It was funny. Yeah.
I saw him at Exclusive not too long ago.
Did you?
Do you remember his brother Sergio? Who
I do.
fought too MMA?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
trained up in Milwaukee and
Yeah.
fought in WC, and that's where Ryan fought. He
Mhm.
fought in the WC. So we had a full. I mean, they flew us out to Vegas and
Yeah,
got to
that's awesome.
yeah. I mean, it was just what an experience. It was pretty cool.
Surreal. Yeah.
It is. Absolutely.
That Sergio was on the Tap Out Tour. Did you know that?
That's
Fernando's
right.
brother?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because Jeff had a guy, Sunshine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I remember that was going on.
Yeah, that was cool. But yeah, like you said, now with the way jiu-jitsu's blown up so much too, I mean, it's huge.
It is.
There's people out there, professional athletes that do jiu-jitsu only, and can almost make a living on it. You
Almost.
know? Yeah.
That's the 1%ers.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
You're looking at like the Bouchechas or the,
Yes.
you know, Cornelius, Keenan Cornelius, all them, but
They make a lot of their money through sponsorships.
Yeah.
Keenan comes from a well-to-do. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's very talented. He's got his own thing going on.
Mhm.
But he was well off.
Yeah, he didn't need the extra, but no. It's just crazy because it used to be people thought they could only make money in MMA, you know, and now it looks like the way that jiu-jitsu is blowing up that, you know, people can start to maybe make a little bit, at least some of their money back, you
Sure,
know.
absolutely.
And that's awesome. I like that it's blowing up, don't you? I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
it's so great, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I have one MMA fighter, and he's such a good dude. I mean, he's come such a long way. It's getting to the point now. Now I'm kind of saying this. I don't know if I can help him out anymore.
You just past your
Maybe, you know. I think what he needs is somebody that's a little bit more focused on that.
Yeah,
I still got his back. I mean, I will, but after him, if he, you know, if we're gonna have that conversation.
Mm-hmm. Is anyone I know? Or no?
I don't know. You know, I don't want to put him on.
We won't drop it on the microphone.
But I mean, you know, the people that know. But he, I just at this point feel like I'm doing him a disservice.
Yeah.
You know, he's such, like I said, he's come a long way considering his background.
Mm-hmm.
He's come such a long way, and I feel like I did my job in terms of off the mat that I did on the mat. You know,
so. The mental game's huge. Yeah.
Huh?
The mental game.
Absolutely, or just being a responsible man.
Mm-hmm. That's huge too. Yeah, just having. That's probably one of the best things about being an instructor is that you can be there for other people that kind of need that. You know.
Joey, that was a unintended benefit.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. Let me tell you something. You know, you do influence people's lives.
Oh, big
Good
time.
and bad. Good and bad. I mean, look, it goes both ways. But it's made me a better man.
Mm-hmm.
It really has.
Well, just like teaching makes you better at jiu-jitsu, you know, right? All of it. Helping people through their hard times or their life makes you better too.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
You can kind of see things from a different lens, I guess it would be, right? Or
You do. I didn't at first. It's like we talked about prior to doing this. I thought I could, my nature is just to fix it. Just ask me.
I got all the answers.
Just ask me. I got it. We'll figure it out. And I really, it's like I told you, I learned to be a better listener.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, an actual, not deliberate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I talk to my students about being, practicing, it's got to be deliberate. You know what I mean? Not just as passive. Same with listening. I've learned how to be a better listener. And I went from trying to fix things, which that didn't really go well, I'll be honest with you, to just sitting there and just listening to them. Really purposely listening.
Some people are just complaining about stuff just because they want to get it out there.
Absolutely. And I realize that's okay to be a soundboard.
Yeah.
Because I need it.
Yeah. They might know. They might already know the solution.
Don't we all know sometimes, man?
Yeah. Sometimes
we know.
It's already in there. Yeah.
Right. So you end up at the end of the day when the conversation's over with, they're high-fiving you, thinking that you're a rock star, and it's a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
It's a win-win.
Speaking of a win, I don't know how long ago this was now. Your black belt promotion, was it 3-4 years now?
Yeah. I'm first degree. Yeah. So it was 2014 September.
Yeah. So what was that like? Because when I met you, you were a brown belt, and you had the brown belt for a long time.
Yeah.
And then something happened. Something kicked you into like 5th gear, and you had a huge weight loss journey. You got like shredded. Like everyone's like, man, like people at the gym were like, dude, that dude's an animal,
Right.
you know. And you got your black belt too. I mean, what was that like? The whole promotion, the whole process.
Oh yeah. How far do we go back on that?
Yeah. I mean, I guess when was I know there had to be some kind of moment where you changed. Like there's something that's.
There's a couple of them. I think one that stands out. I don't think it was just one thing. There's always one that stands out, and that was I had a Division I wrestler come in, big dude, and I think at the time I was like 275.
Okay.
And
a little round.
Huh?
A little round.
I was a little round. Yeah, for sure. And I remember him coming in, nicest guy. He wrestled for Pittsburgh, and I've always been able to handle myself even bigger with wrestlers to some degree. He made me feel like a child. And I remember, I have a rule in my academy that there's no giving up on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You ever see that, guys? Somebody will be on top, and then they'll get swept. And
Mhm.
as soon as they get swept, they tap out.
Yeah, like I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah,
This
that's
isn't
not
fun
allowed in
anymore.
my academy. Like
No.
you get 50 push-ups. I've lost a student because of that.
Why would you give up when you get swept? That, you used to attack from the bottom.
Well,
now.
it's an ego
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
right? And we all
Yeah.
have it, you
Mhm.
know. And I always tell them to manage your ego. Don't leave
Mhm.
it out the door because that's not possible. You can manage it at least. So anyway, I remember him putting it to me. I was puking in my mouth, and I almost gave up.
Just from the pressure.
Yeah, because it was constant, and I could not get underneath. And he was that strong, and he was putting his arm underneath my back, which was adding to it. Now remember, I'm already
You were
round,
round, and he was what, 275 or something? Big
easily,
boy?
and
All
strong,
muscle,
man,
probably.
and fast. And I remember feeling helpless,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it goes back, you know, to how I was as a child. Didn't like that. I'm not claustrophobic or anything, but I don't like feeling like, don't get one over on me, especially when I don't deserve it. You know what I mean? That's when I'm, you know. But yeah, he put that on me, and it all of a sudden all these weird scenarios came in my head. Like I couldn't take care of my family, or if there was an incident, or I felt like I didn't feel worthy to my students.
Yeah, because this guy, did he have any jiu-jitsu?
No.
Or but a D1 wrestler, dude.
He had international experience.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I didn't have my gi on.
Look at Ben Askren. I mean, that
Right.
dude. There's a
Yeah.
perfect example.
If I had a
of
gi on,
yeah.
it would have been different.
Oh, this was no gi.
This was no
Oh,
gi.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Then
trust me, no, it
You
was
guys
good.
are you're pretty much both going to be in the same division at that point. If you were at a tournament, wouldn't he? He'd be right there competing advanced. A guy like that, or no?
Yeah, he would be,
So-
just because of his, yeah,
Just because it's
absolutely.
wrestling. So I mean,
No, yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
And he had me pinned down, and I was out of shape, and you know, anyways, there was a reflection period right there, a
Mhm.
moment. There was a moment of clarity, so to speak. And I remember I finally got out of into a neutral position, and that's a rule. Once we get there, and I took it, I was getting dizzy,
Mhm.
and I just was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And then it went back to, then I started taking like inventory of my life at that point, thinking I wasn't congruent
Mhm.
with my message. It just hit me right there, you know, being congruent with your message. I have a thing on my wall that says no excuses. And I realized, I remember having this moment right there, because I was like trying to breathe and like trying to I was scrambled.
Get your bearings.
And I'm
yeah.
looking at my wall going, I'm not congruent with my message at my academy.
Yeah.
I always thought I was okay. Yeah, I'm big,
Yeah. Yeah.
but come here, you know, don't let the belly and gray hair fool you. I
Mhm.
mean, I really did. I felt that way, you know, and because there was other aspects of my life I was congruent with. It was almost like I could have this one, you know, but you know, being bigger, because yeah, I mean, I battled my weight my whole life. So, and it was that moment right there. I wasn't congruent, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't the word that I used, but it was just I wasn't.
You weren't in line, or you
I
weren't.
wasn't.
Yeah.
No, man, not with my message, you know, and so I was on a mission. And by the way, it's one of the reasons why I didn't get my black belt. I didn't want it being that big.
Yeah.
So here I was continuously doing it. That moment right there it reminds me of the married couple at the restaurant with a screaming baby. Joe, I don't know if you
Never. Right.
You know,
I'd be sitting close to home. Go ahead.
yeah, I'd always look over, you know, at the
Yeah.
couple, and they were just ignoring it, and I thought,
Yeah.
how rude. Well, no,
Yeah.
you become what,
You're desensitized to it. Yeah.
right, man?
I mean,
And that's what it was, to my weight, to myself.
Yeah.
I become desensitized to it, and that was a moment right there. And there was a couple of other ones. Again, thinking about my students and all that, going, this is not how I want my black belt. It just all hit me. So
Yeah.
man, I was on a mission, and you know, but I didn't want it to be a thing where it was, you know, get your black belt and blow up again. I didn't want that either.
So you want to make a lifestyle change.
Absolutely.
At that point.
And I had been battling, I had done a lot of diets, you know, and so I found one that would be considered a quick fix, but it ended up being a diet that I'm currently on 5 years later.
It was sustainable for you.
It was,
yeah.
man,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it completely transformed my physique. I didn't know I had abs, and I didn't know I could look that way. So things started, anyway. My hope, look, not only did I change, my academy changed.
Mhm.
I started having more enrollments.
Yeah. Just because you look better, you feel better, you got more confidence.
Yeah, there's a
People
lot
can
going
feel
on.
that, see that.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
you know, it was kind of, you know, when I tell that story, I almost cringe,
Mm-hmm.
because it was so obvious. You know what I mean? It was so obvious if I had
Yeah.
done that. My life, right?
Right.
But the whole weight thing and diet is my cross to bear, man.
Mm-hmm.
And some people like to have a beer or a cocktail at the end of the evening, or blow lines, whatever they do.
Yeah,
Or
right.
opioid, you know, whatever they do, man. Me, I like to relax with a large pizza.
Yeah, oh, Domino's or shit pizza too. I don't even
Right.
think that's be good. It could be garbage.
Yeah.
The more garbage it is, the better for me.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a carboholic, my man.
Mhm.
So for sure. But anyways, I found a diet that worked for me, and thank God, and it changed my life. And next thing you know, I wanted to do a tournament. I hadn't been in a fight in years.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not like, you know, so I did a IBJF Chicago as a
Is it
brown
the
belt.
brown? Yeah.
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 You know, I only had one match, but that didn't matter to me because it was about the nerves, and I hadn't competed in like
There's a
8
lot
years
you gotta
prior.
deal
Yeah,
with,
right?
man. Yeah.
And it was IBJF, man.
And you got, yeah, they're the strictest. You gotta
Yeah.
be on it.
Yes,
man.
so there was a lot going on, this, that, all of that, and I got the submission, and it was a proud moment for me, and my son was there, and it just was, man, yeah. And you know what it was? It's those things, when you keep going like that, you keep challenging yourself, it just keeps fueling the fire. I think I heard one of your podcasts, it was a that bodybuilding couple.
Mhm,
I was
Dennis,
listening on the
yeah,
way,
Dennis
yeah.
and Ariel, yeah.
And she had said, now what? And you do need a now what.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, you know, don't just
You
say,
can't
well,
just top out, yeah.
yeah, we'll just be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have something. I can't speak for everyone, but for me, I needed something.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the black belt, and then black belt came. And next thing you know, students change, attitudes change. So that was another thing that kept going. And then I just started to compete. I wanted to continue to test myself.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it. And then along that journey of competing, which was still hard for me, don't get me wrong, I was still nervous about it. But you know what, putting it on the line in front of your students was another thing.
And family and
It was.
because your wife will watch too.
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah, because my wife looks at me as like,
she looks up to you. I mean, you're the,
my wife thinks, yeah, I could.
thinks you're
Yeah.
the toughest dude alive, and
Yeah.
you go to a tournament, and if you get subbed, who's this guy? He's got
Exactly.
right?
So all those ego type
Uh-huh.
issues were there, and you know what it was, man? I just, you know, of course that could be a weakness too, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, that came into play, and I thought, no, man, I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do this. I remember I went to my student, my right hand man Ryan. I go, I just blurted it out like a fart, man.
Yeah.
You know, I go, I'm doing this, and I wasn't even all in on it.
Yeah.
But once I said it to him, I
Now
was
you're in.
accountable.
Now you got to do it.
Right?
Yeah.
I
Just
was
like a New Year's resolution.
Yes, I was accountable. Especially, look, it's one thing to say I want to lose weight and then
Uh-huh.
go back to being fat. I've done that.
Mhm.
But to tell your student, your right-hand man who's been with you, somebody that, you know,
That looks
has
up to you,
has
too.
respect
Yeah.
for me, you know,
Yeah.
and I have, same for him. I got respect for him. This is, like that right there, you don't go back on that.
You can't. No,
I've gone
dude.
back on diets, man, but I was not going back on what I just told him. And, you know, I lost my first 6 black belt matches.
Hey, it happens. I mean.
It does. Well, I had when I did compete as a blue and purple, I was on a tear.
Yeah.
I mean, I did well. I even would go up into,
Absolute.
oh, no, the next level.
Oh, okay.
So when I was a blue, I would go to purples.
Purple,
I remember
yeah.
getting arguments with the guys at Naga,
Yeah.
because they thought it was shameful that I was doing that. Because for the purple belt,
Yeah.
they're screwed either way. They win,
Oh, you beat a blue belt.
but
Good
if
for
you win,
Yeah.
if you lose, I remember telling them, I want to test myself.
Mhm.
And that's how I was. And there was that big gap, weight gain, not sure. I started going
Mhm.
back to this weird thing. I wasn't growing as a man. And then of course, you know, I told you that story about the wrestler, all that kind of changed. And then I wanted to keep going. And, but I was in instructor mode.
Yeah.
So my first 6 black belt matches, I mean, you got a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
I
you're
never got
training-
submitted, but
Yeah.
and I didn't get blown out, but I didn't win.
Yeah.
And but there was, remember I told you about the unintended, I remember getting messages from students that had been with me, you know, just like tell them how, I don't know, I don't want to be overly dramatic, but just inspirational it was
To see you compete.
to see their instructor do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
To put it on the line. And we're talking about jiu-jitsu tournament. It's not like I was going off to Iraq or anything, you know what I mean?
Right.
But for them, it was such so there it is again, Joey.
Mm-hmm. Leading by example.
Leading by
Right.
example, but now that propelled me more to what?
Do it again,
Diet,
yeah.
train. So it just kept
Yeah.
going. And I feel like that's what it was. You know, you cannot just, momentum. The momentum kept
Mhm.
going. So I was getting frustrated. I had lost 6, you know, whether it was by advantage point or 2 points, it
No,
didn't matter.
do you feel like you lost because of the skill level is that much higher at black belt, or the rules are different, or just the way that they approach the matches are different, or?
I'm going to say, that's a good question. I want to be careful how I answer this because I don't want to take away from my opponents. But based on how I lost, I felt like look, the guys I lost to they were black belts.
They're good, yeah.
They were fourth, right, you know?
Yeah.
But honestly, it was I was holding back because they were black belts,
Mhm.
and I remember I was still in instructor mode.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I was in instructor mode, meaning
You're
I'm just
trying to look cool and
well,
calm.
no, well, I don't know about cool, but I was calm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about cool, but I was certainly like, hey, I'm gonna open up my guard. You're gonna do your thing, and then I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna counter that.
Yeah, right.
Joey, there was no countering it.
No. They know what they're black belts.
They're black belts.
Oops, I forgot.
Right? And I had that very slow, methodical approach, and then it would be time. And I realized I lost by 2 points, or that was kind of
Mhm.
going on. You gotta go, man.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm saying. The rule set, I remember losing several times by advantage. Gotta get an advantage and hang on to me. And I'm cross-facing him, he's in my guard, but he had gotten a half guard, advantage point.
Yeah.
So I put him back into guard, he would just hang out.
Yeah, whatever, right?
And I would just cross-face him in time. My students didn't ask how I lost. All they know is, you lost.
Mm-hmm.
And I at the time I wanted to kind of go, wait, hear my story.
Yeah, but then you're that
The ego,
guy, right?
then you're that guy.
Yeah. Oh, let's hear the excuse this time, right?
So I'm like biting my tongue, Joey, right? Because you
Yeah.
don't want to be that guy.
Uh-huh.
So so what am I going to do about it? I'm not having this, man.
Mm-mm.
I know what I'm capable of, or maybe I don't know what I'm capable of. I don't know. I just know I could do better. So I was on a mission. So I made a phone call to 2 guys who I think they've got, in my opinion, the toughest academies in the area. And I'm not disrespecting anybody else, maybe,
Mhm.
but it's New Breed out of Chicago, Mark Vivas.
I've heard the same about them.
Man,
Killers.
they are killers, but it's mindset, and he's had that mindset for years, so he's developed it. And then Scott Houston out of Brazilian 360.
Oh, yeah.
And these guys.
Braza, they fill up tournaments.
They
too.
do.
You go to a tournament, they got the whole.
They do.
Yeah.
But I got and they're just tough. But
Mhm.
Scott's guys are homegrown.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them, I think, are just killers. So I just spent more time with him. But I spend the majority of my time now with Mark Vivas.
Mhm.
Jeff Curran is still, I'm going to throw this out there, Jeff is still my instructor, and
Yeah.
that will never change. Mark is my competition coach,
Yeah.
and that guy has changed me. He has told me how things really are. He set me straight on some things, and his guys are,
So he's got the bodies that that work
and
too.
the
for him.
mindset.
Yeah.
Let me tell you. So that, I started working with him a little bit. I would drive to Chicago, tolls, gas, twice a week. And I remember going to Charlotte, and me and my wife flew to Charlotte for the IB, the
IBJ, yeah,
the Open. And I was so nervous because I was told this guy, Sean, international competitor, I was going up against him. The first guy submitted, so I finally got that off my back.
Mm-hmm.
The black belt, right? Some boxer who fought Kimbo Slice. I don't know who he was, but he was a black belt out of St. Louis. I armbarred him, and that was just a moment right there.
Boom.
Just
Yeah,
because it
you
was a
got the
finish.
momentum.
By the way, too, I want to say something earlier. The whole point thing was troublesome to me because I teach my students to finish,
Mm-hmm.
that finish mindset,
Yeah.
whether it's street or
More self-defense, even, right? Yeah.
finish, right?
So you're not gonna hold a guy in your guard on the street and get pounded.
Right,
But
yeah.
I probably won by points,
So I won that way, and which has hurt me in the past trying to win by submission too. But anyway, so I won that, and I went in the finals. So I got spooked. I got spooked by this guy.
Psyched yourself out before
I
the
did.
match.
So I lost a referee's decision. I still did better, and but I could not go home. I'm in Charlotte. I mean, it might as well have been the other side of the planet. I could not go home. So I signed up for the Open,
Mm-hmm.
which I never done that before.
Oh, open division, like no whatever
Absolute-
weight, yeah,
the
absolute, yeah.
division, yeah. And I had asked that guy who I lost to because I felt like it was up here. I go, will you be in it? He's like, yeah. So I remember I had 4 hours. I had a meal and I just waited, because I was gonna win it. And I end up first guy. He wasn't in it. He ended up for some reason bowed out. I wanted him bad, but I beat the first guy. Choke, monkey flipped him in the air, choked him, and then I was in the finals. It was that simple, and I had won the finals against a guy from Colombia, and my first gold medal. And then then all of a sudden the successes were coming.
Boom.
I think it was mental. I realized you got to rock.
Yep.
You got to rock. And then I forgot. I've lost some, of course, by points. I've won some fight to wins. I've done well at that, but I've lost 2 by referee's decision. I thought I won my last match, but it is what it is. But no, it's been a great ride, and I'm continuing it There's no doubt. I'm gonna go till the wheels fall off, Joey.
Yeah. And now, well, good, dude. I mean, you can. There's a really long future in jiu-jitsu.
There
you
is.
can do it almost till you're, handicapped or something. You can do it.
Joey, I'm gonna go until my face hits the mat.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. You can't even army crawl. That's when you stop moving,
Yes,
right?
man. And
Yep.
you know, look, I got the best gig in the world.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I do, man. And even when I think about retirement, you and I were talking about this. I hope I'm not skipping all over the place. But
No, do it.
I picture myself living somewhere a little bit warmer.
But still training, right? I mean,
Man, I do. You know, everybody says, well, I just got this picture in my head. Remember?
you can't have an end goal with jiu-jitsu. There's no end, right? I mean,
There is no end. No,
yeah.
I just want to keep going. I want to be able. Look, I run my business, my academy, in a way where I hope I can retire.
Mhm.
But how I picture retirement is me and my wife, somewhere warm, and I'm driving on the boardwalk with one of those little beach bikes, Joey.
Mhm.
You know what I'm talking about, the little ling,
Yeah.
and the bell.
Uh-huh.
And I got a book, and I'm going to have coffee in the morning. I'm on the boardwalk, and my part-time gig, or what I do, is jiu-jitsu now.
Yep. Whether it just be doing some privates here and there or whatever. Yeah.
You got me doing the executive class,
Yeah.
or privates, or you want me doing kids.
Yoga. Yoga for jiu-jitsu.
I don't, yeah. I mean, that's how I picture my life, you know?
Mhm.
Some people,
But just maybe stepping back from all the behind the scenes stuff, right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
but other than that, that's, yeah. And my wife, you know, and I'm still, you know, we get to decide where we're gonna have sushi, me and my wife,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm right back at it, you know? I'm sure my wife has a different picture.
You can meet somewhere in the middle, though, right? I mean, that's how it
Yeah.
usually goes with everything.
But she trains with me now. She does.
Oh, good.
She does the kickboxing. She's not too hip on
Jiu-jitsu, Chris.
sweaty guys. She, you know.
Yeah, that's how Jackie is. I can't get her to, like, sometimes I get her to roll with me, but it's like more like flirting and, it's like not super serious. I'm like, all right, this is pointless. So,
Right.
whatever. But
No problem.
I meant to ask, since you are competing a lot, how does that work with sponsorships? Do they reach out to you, or I mean, obviously they don't pay enough to pay the bills,
No.
But I mean,
Not for me. I mean, there are some like you said, Busesha.
yeah.
I heard he gets an obscene amount of money
Oh yeah.
from Show Your Own.
Muscle Farm too.
Maybe
He's
now.
doing that.
And I don't know the truth. I don't know what the truth is, but some people
Yeah.
they tell me, oh, this is what he's getting. No, so God bless him.
The Mendez brothers, they're
Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, but Busesha, I heard it's obscene.
yeah.
So
He's actually making a living with it.
yeah, Mendez brothers are killing it too.
Yeah.
Good Lord. But God bless them. No, so Show Your Roll, I'm sponsored by Show Your Roll. So